we're talking baseball. Carew and Gaylord Perry, Seaver, Garvey, Schmidt, and Vida Blue. If Cooperstown is calling, it's no fluke. They'll be with Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say
Now, ESPN 95.9 and the main event are proud to bring you our weekly minor league baseball report, Down on the Farm, with our minor league baseball expert, Andrew Force. Down on the Farm is sponsored exclusively by State Farm agent Darren Powell in Mount Pulaski. Call Darren today at 877-792-3371 for all your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Now, let's go down on the farm.
Welcome back to Down on the Farm. This week's guest, Ryan Theriot, an infielder for the West Tennessee Diamondbacks, affiliate for the Chicago Cubs. First, let's take a look at the St. Louis Cardinals farm system and any transactions therein. Towards the tail end of last week, St. Louis shifted around its DL. Outfielder Roger Cedeno was activated from the 15-day DL and then designated for assignment. Bullpen lefty Randy Flores has been placed on the 15-day disabled list. Filling his spot on the St. Louis squad is southpaw Carmen Cali from AAA Memphis. In Memphis, typically acknowledgments go out to the best player of the week, but one game earned John Rodriguez mention this week. The team scored 7 runs to win 7-5. With a grand slam and a measly 2-run blast, Rodriguez drove in 6. The only run he did not bring home was his own. He scored in the 4th inning. 7 runs, all somehow thanks to Rodriguez. Well played, young man. AA Springfield, Tyler Mingus is just 4 RBI away from owning a team-wide triple crown. His 23 doubles aren't too shabby either. Last Saturday, the St. Louis Cardinals called outfielder Hector Luna back up from AAA Memphis. Luna played 83 games for St. Louis a year ago. He's number 7 in the scorebook, number 1 in your heart. Hiya, Palm Beach. Illinois native Andy Schutzenhofer lost his spot at AA. Returning to the familiar Palm Beach, his 2004 home, Schutzenhofer has 6 hits in his first 11 at-bats. Low A Quad Cities, Rick Ankiel update. After belting a grand slam with 6 RBI in the final game of the first half of the season, the lefty out of Fort Pierce, Florida, picked up right where he left off after the break. Leading the swing to a 4-game sweep at Wisconsin, Ankiel hit an even .500, 7 of 14, with 2 home runs and 5 RBI. He also crossed the plate 8 times, slugged .071, and had a .650 on-base percentage in the series, all of which were best in the Midwest League this past week. Since joining the swing on May 23rd, the Cardinals' 1997 second-round pick has hit .298 while launching 9 home runs and driving in 25 through 26 games. Is the player allowed to be runner-up for Rookie of the Year 2 different years for different positions in the major leagues? It's now time for this week's guest, Ryan Theriot of the West Tennessee Diamondbacks. So when you played with the Lansing Lugnuts and you visited South Bend, I broadcast some of the games you played. That was about 3 years ago now.
Okay.
The thing that interested me most about your game was how much speed influenced the games that you played, and how do you think you use that asset effectively?
Well, first off, like you said, you have to use it, and that would be keeping the ball out of the air, not hitting easy pop-ups where you're an easy out offensively, making sure you put the ball on the ground, put it in play consistently, and use that asset. Defensively, it can be a killer for other teams, because good positioning plus speed and quickness can take away a lot of hits. So, I try to focus on those things offensively and defensively.
The never-shy Ricky Henderson was asked many questions over time about his power as a leadoff man, and he mentioned that money isn't in the stolen base. You get paid for the home runs, so that's why he kind of bulked up a little bit. That bothered me a little bit because I like the steals, bunts, extra base hits, and such. I think it makes baseball fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that team speed is on the verge of extinction in baseball?
It wins games, and, you can't teach speed. Speed's something that you either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
I would like to say no. I hope it's not. I know that the team that we're on right now in West Tennessee is extremely fast. One of the best teams I've played on when I was at LSU. Our team was extremely fast also. We won a College World Series. I don't think that's coincidence. Maybe the stolen base is kind of fading a little bit, but going from first to third on a base hit will never be looked down upon. Scoring from first on a double wins games, and getting runners in scoring position wins games, and stolen bases do that. I think it's team speed may be overlooked a bit now because of the home runs and things that people are putting up, but I think bottom line is, team speed's always going to win games. Speed always kills, and that's a phrase I've heard my whole life. Speed killing, it really does, It breaks the backs of opposing teams if you have a fast club.
What do you watch for when you were going to steal a base, pitcher's movements and such?
I kind of focus on the pitcher's torso, in the middle of his body, on most guys, or right-handers. Sometimes I'll look down at the ankle, the foot. They say to watch when they break their knees.Maybe they have to go home if they break their back knee. I just kind of look for something out of the ordinary, and I pay a lot of attention to what he does when other people are on base. The pitcher. With righties, left-handed pitchers normally tip things off, whether it be with their head or, with their front leg that they pick up. If you do your homework and pay attention when other people are on base, it's pretty easy normally to get a good read on certain pitchers.
How did guys used to steal home plate? That blows my mind. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, not since I've been in pro ball, I haven't. Normally when a pitcher's out of the windup, it's pretty easy to do. If he doesn't throw, a pitch that would allow the catcher to tag you fairly easily.
Yeah.
If a pitcher is out of the windup, you can get a good walking lead at third base, and a lot of times you can take that bag. There's been a couple times where I've been able to do it this year, and just the situation in the game didn't really allow us to do it. But it's definitely an exciting play, something I love to do. But at the same note, it's pretty dangerous if something goes wrong.
Yeah, no kidding. Back to Ryan Theriot in a matter of moments, but first, let's take a look at the Chicago Cubs, any transactions, and their minor league stars this week. Bypassing the typical rehab start, Mark Pryor took little time reminding fans of his value. Pryor lifted the Cubs further from the 500 mark with an economical 71-pitch, 6-inning outing on Sunday. Oh, and it was the Windy City Classic against the winningest pitcher in baseball, John Garland. To make room for the USC graduate, Chicago optioned lefty Rich Hill to Iowa of the PCL. MinorLeagueBaseball.com bestowed the honor of Pacific Coast League Offensive MVP on Scott McLean. He's a non-traditional minor leaguer in the sense that McLean is not a young buck with potential dripping from his ears. A three-time PCL All-Star with 3 different teams, the corner infielder turned 33 last month. His 15 ribbies certainly helped spurn a 6-game winning streak for the Iowa Cubs. The Chicago Cubs optioned right-handed pitcher Todd Wellemeyer to Iowa. Recalled right-handed pitcher Roberto Novoa from Iowa as well. AA West Tennessee leaders. The Diamond Jacks have stolen 104 bases, second best in the Southern League. 6 players have swiped more than 10 bases. Today's guest, Ryan Theriot, leads the way with 17. Tuesday, the Chicago Cubs recalled infielder Ronnie Cedeno from Iowa, AAA affiliate, and outrighted infielder Enrique Wilson to Iowa. They just couldn't keep him down any longer as Cedeno was destroying the PCL to the clip of 371. High-A Daytona pitcher Randy Wells moved down from AA to Single-A last Friday. The same day, Billy Petrick hit the DL. As far as batting hero this week, Chris Walker has climbed from 284 to 301 with a 10-for-17 tear. Low-A Peoria, Ryan Harvey is 6th in the Midwest League RBI race. Despite playing in just 80% of the team's games, his 44 runs batted in leads the Chiefs. The question has been answered: when Kerry gets back, whom do you demote? Tuesday, Chicago decided to designate former closer Joe Borowski for assignment to make room for Kerry Wood. Now back to Ryan Theriot of the West Tennessee Diamond Jacks. Do you think everyone should learn to bunt, or are there certain players out there that are, quote, too powerful for that?
Bunting's important. Bunting's extremely important for a lot of players, some more than others. Your power guys obviously aren't going to be asked to bunt as much as others will, but I would say that, it would never be a bad tool to learn. Not as easy as it looks a lot of times because guys' emotions get going and they're expected to do something that's fairly easy, and then you lose concentration. With the power guys, though, they should be able to a certain extent, but, as far as bunting for base hits, it's really, honestly, I don't think it will ever be asked, for a big home run hitter to do.
Right. What is the best logo you've seen in minor league baseball?
Oh, Lansing Lugnuts, no doubt.
Is that right?
Lugnuts are great, man, yeah. And then, ours at West Tennessee over here is pretty good. Let's see. They had a couple other ones I was just looking at the other day, matter of fact. They've had some good ones. I've come across some real good ones. Lansing's definitely my favorite. You know, they say it's always at the tops as far as sales goes for the minor league merchandise. What a cool mascot.
Is there a difference between night and day games to you?
Yeah. Day games, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the night games, normally the first few innings, it's a little bit harder to see the ball than it is once it gets dark. Day games, it stays the same pretty much the whole time. But as far as a hitter goes, you have to battle that sun in day games on defense. You know, and hitting the twilight's always kind of tough to see the ball from the pitcher on a night game.
Being a leadoff man many times in your career, I'm sure you understand the do anything to get on base mentality.
Right.
That said, do you think elbow guards are fair for batters?
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, certain guys have injuries that kind of make them wear those things, and it's a preventative measure, you know, so they won't get hit. I think pitchers should wear them if their front elbow is their throwing arm. I think that's an important spot, you know, for them to have them. I don't know. A lot of times those elbow guards, you know, some guys maybe use them to get a little advantage, but for the most part, I think they're needed in baseball, you know, for a lot of people.
Is there a big gripe you have about minor league baseball in general?
About minor league baseball?
Yeah.
No, you know, it's what it is. It's a feeder for the big leagues, and you know, it allows for a lot of people to work, and allows for a lot of people to continue their dreams, and you know, for me, that's always good. You know, if anybody can live out a dream, and whether it be minor leagues or major leagues, I think that's a positive. And you know, you meet a bunch of different people, make a lot of friends that you wouldn't normally know, and it's a great thing.
Who is the best all-around athlete in your stacked West Tennessee lineup?
Best all-around athlete in West Tennessee's lineup? Huh. Well, there's a couple. I know Felix Piet could probably play a lot of other sports. We probably have 4 or 5 guys that would be solid in other sports, probably college-level players. I know Buck Coates could play other sports. He'd be a great wide receiver. I know Brandon Sting's great on the basketball court. Obviously, I'm going to have to throw myself in there just because I'm a little biased.
Yeah.
You know, no, but yeah, we have a very athletic team, guys that can play a lot of different positions. I don't know if you noticed in our lineup, we've had guys all over the place, and they've all been successful. So we got some good athletes. You know, I'd have to put Felix up there at the top. You know, Buck's pretty athletic in his own right too.
What ages are baseball players in their prime, would you say?
I would have to say, you know, 21 to 25, 26. You know, mentally, they normally can develop once they get to those age. You know, physically, a lot of guys are ready, but you know, this game's 90% mental. So I think once they get enough at bats under their belt and played in enough games, that's a good age, depending on where they've been. That I would say they'd be developed.
Is there any difference between travel accommodations between single A and double A?
It's pretty similar. You know, as far as travel goes with the bus and the hotels are pretty similar also. They're all pretty much the same, and it's you know, it's good for what we do, and you know, at every level that I've been, it's all been, I don't have any complaints, and you know, the Cubs have done a real good job taking care of us.
What do you think about in the on-deck circle?
On-deck circle, I try to time the pitcher. I try to see what pitches he's throwing. Is he throwing them for strikes? Another thing I try to key on is, you know, how long it takes him to get to the plate, if he has a quick delivery or a slow delivery. And just see how he pitches the guy in front of me, and maybe get a little idea of what he's going to do to me whenever I get up.
All right, thanks a lot, and hope you guys have a good rest of the season.
Okay, buddy, thank you.
Ryan Theriot of the West Tennessee Diamondbacks. That's once again the AA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. From the north side to the south side, let's take a look at the Chicago White Sox leaders in their minor league system this week. AAA Charlotte, former Knight Kurt Schilling, returned yesterday for a rehab start with the Pawtucket Red Sox. Perusers of the International League Leaders Board know the name well. Brian Anderson is 7th in runs, 10th in doubles, 12th in total bases, and 12th in hits. AA Birmingham. Someone buy Chris Young dinner. The dude started the second half with 5 home runs in 6 games, swatting 11 hits and 25 at-bats. Though the honor was decided upon before his recent surge, Young heard news of his Futures Game invitation this week as well. The Winston-Salem Warthogs, now in first place, have a likely Triple Crown winner on their team. Leo Daigle has 24 long balls, 5 up on his follower. His 85 RBI leads teammate and former Down on the Farm guest Tom Calero by 22. Up 16 points in the batting average column, Daigle could very well become the second player in the Carolina League's 60-year history to acquire the Triple Crown. Low A, Kannapolis left fielder David Cook currently has a .422 on-base percentage with 51 walks, propping up that number. Come back next week to hear what your team's growing down on the farm.
Hey, come into County Market and check out our savings explosion. They're mind-blowing, like a...
Allen. It's a bright, sunny afternoon, and what a beautiful day for a ball game.
I'm talking baseball, like Reggie Quisenberry, talking baseball. Carew and Gaylord Perry, Seaver, Garvey, Schmidt, and Vida Blue. If Cooperstown is calling, it's no fluke. They'll be with Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Now, ESPN 95.9 and the main event are proud to bring you our weekly minor league baseball report, Down on the Farm, with our minor league baseball expert, Andrew Force. Down on the Farm is sponsored exclusively by State Farm agent Darren Powell and Melt Plasky. Call Darren today at 877-792-3371 for all your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Now, let's go down on the farm.
Welcome back to Down on the Farm. This week's guest is Mark Michael, a 22-year-old pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's currently pitching in Palm Beach, the High A affiliate. A little bit of a change-up this week, as usually. I talked to you a little bit about the transactions within. We'll still do that, but there will not be any star players from each organization. This week, I'll talk to you about the last 6 years, 2000 and beyond, the first draft pick taken by your team, Chicago Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals, and Chicago White Sox, and see where they are now and how they're progressing in their careers. First up, the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs were quite active on July 4th this year. Last week, Enrique Wilson fell down to AAA. This week, the Iowa Cubs on July 4th placed him on the inactive list. Michael Lewis takes his spot as a middle infielder following his call-up from AA West 10. Pitcher Brad Stiles was released by the organization on July 4th, that being from AAA Iowa. The Boise Hawks rookie-level team assigned infielder Kyle Reynolds to their squad. Also on July 4th, infielder Aaron Sisk was promoted to AA West 10 of the Southern League, as Victor Ramos was added from Boise to Peoria Chiefs. Luis Montañez, the third overall pick in 2000, has experienced varied success throughout his lengthy career, as evidenced by his .267 career batting average. Right now, he is playing for Peoria, the low A squad, and having a fine year. 307, 11 bombs, 47 ribbies. Taken second overall in 2001, Mark Pryor should have been the first pick, but the Minnesota Twins had no intentions of paying him a huge bonus. Pryor has since won 35 regular season games and 2 postseason games for the Chicago Cubs. A former guest of this very show, Bobby Brownlee, is redefining his style. Drafted as a fireballer, Brownlee is now working on changing speeds and location. He is 3-4 with a 5.18 earned run average for AAA Iowa. The Cubs' first-round pick in 2003 was Ryan Harvey. Playing with the Peoria Chiefs, outfielder Ryan Harvey is doing just fine. Identical power numbers to Montañez on the same team, Harvey has a tremendous frame at 6'5", 225. Taken in 2004's second round, Grant Johnson plays for Peoria as well. It took a while before this transpired, however. He held out and did not sign until August of last year. Then he suffered a hamstring injury in spring training this year. At 6'6", he is the 4th tallest hurler on the gigantic staff. In his 5 starts, Johnson is 1-2 with a 5.25 ERA. That'll do it for the Chicago Cubs. Let's now take a listen to Mark Michael, this week's guest on Down on the Farm. Okay, I'm talking with Mark Michael of the Palm Beach Cardinals. Mark, what pitches do you throw?
Feature a fastball, curveball, and a changeup.
What would you say are the strengths of your game and aspects you need to work on?
Well, right now, I say my strength is I've always had a sinking talent fastball, and that seems to work pretty well. The only problem is with the sinking fastball. You got to keep it on to the plate, and keep it low in the zone so they can't get under it and either cause the ball to go out of the yard or into the gap. I think if you're able to pitch inside and establish the inside part of the plate, and you can pitch anywhere on the plate, because the hitters don't really like the ball inside too much, and with a guy with a sinking fastball and pretty hard, it's pretty tough to hit.
The baseball draft is nowhere near as publicized as the NBA or NFL drafts. Could you describe how you found out where you were going to be playing?
When I was, I guess it was in 03 when I was drafted. I was actually just home with my mom, and she told me that the Cardinals I've been getting phone calls. I was getting phone calls all day. We're going to take you here, take you there, blah 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 blah. Would you sign for this? Would you sign for that? And my mom ended up finally telling me I was outside, cutting the grass. My mom told me I was drafted in the 4th round by the Cardinals. And
you were cutting the grass when you got drafted?
Yeah, I was cutting it. It was funny. My dad was working. I just needed something to relieve my mind because it was kind of a hectic day.
Right.
And so I was outside cutting the grass, and next thing you know, my mom was yelling. They drafted me in the 4th round, and the scout Tommy Shields, he called me and told me they drafted me, and he pretty much told me I was heading to New Jersey. So.
Now, Tommy Shields was your manager in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, he was actually. Now, I don't think he's the manager now. I think Mark DeJohn, I think, is the manager there. So I think they're just making Tommy just concentrate on scouting, so which is pretty good.
Did you feel energized, ready to get to work, or relieved to be getting the chance for something you worked so hard for?
Yeah, that's what everyone works for, and just to get the opportunity to play at a higher level and get paid for is just something you've always dreamed about. You obviously, I'm not the type of guy that likes 9-to-5 jobs. I never really had one, so I don't know what it would be like. So I'm always been playing baseball, so it'd be kind of weird if I wasn't playing it. So it feels good to know that you can actually pursue a career out of it.
Okay, you have the ideal pitching frame, 6'4", 215, somewhere in there, but you have had shoulder troubles in the past. What would you say has been the problem?
Just mechanics. Believe it or not, like the way you pitch, it has a lot of bearing on your arm. Obviously, the pitching motion is not the best thing for an arm. It's very violent, right. But I've been running into some mechanical problems, and I'm just trying to get those things consistent where I can feel I have a grasp on it. And it feels pain-free, and it feels effortless when I'm throwing. So that's just. I think I have that now. It's being hurt, and you start to realize what you need to do to stay healthy. So once I get back off the DL, I'll be able to get those mechanics down and continue hopefully.
You went through an off season of rehab. Would you say that the problem you have now is related to that, or is it something new?
It's something new. It had nothing to do with what I had in the off season. The pain I had last year was sharp pain in the back of my shoulder in the labrum area. And it was real deep. This one just right in the front, the bicep tendon and the rotator cuff. So, I rehabbed it all off season, and, I came back strong, felt great in spring training. Started off, feeling good, and I just ran into it. I don't want to blame it on something, but I was pitching in Port Charlotte, and the mound was kind of iffy, it wasn't the best of mound. I was sort of pitching uphill. What that means is when I was throwing, my front foot was landing, and my back foot was beneath the level of my front foot, and I was kind of fighting myself to get the ball on top, and I came out of my mechanics, and that I think tweaked something up in the shoulder. So,
right back to this week's guest, Mark Michael, in a moment. But first, the transactions within the Cardinals system and the first-round draft picks from the last 6 years. Anthony Reyes, prized prospect, was activated from the DL on Sunday. He originally went to the shelf because of shoulder tendonitis in his throwing arm. Sean Boyd, drafted in 2000. Was batting .272 when AA Springfield. At times, Boyd has shown the ability to steal bases. For example, Sean swindled 32 in 2002. Most believe Boyd has topped out, though, with little progress anticipated beyond this, his third season in AA. In 2001, the Cardinals selected Justin Pope with their first-round pick. Late in 2003, Pope and teammate Ben Julianell were packaged for Sterling Hitchcock. Pope is now a member of the New York Yankees AA affiliate, Trenton Thunder. 25 years old, the switch-hitting pitcher is a converted closer with 17 saves and a sub-3 ERA. Calvin Hayes was the highest pick taken by St. Louis in 2002. He was a third-round selection, however. Until recently, his movement had all been positive. Currently in low A, Hayes is a speedy middle infielder. 2003, the Cardinals picked a shiny apple, Derek Barton, a high school phenom who was traded to Oakland along with Dan Herron and Kiko Calero for Mark Mulder. A member of the prestigious Futures All-Star game, Barton just moved up to AA with the Athletics. In his first 2 games, he slugged a home run and drove in 3. Now 22 years old, Chris Lambert was picked by the Cardinals organization in 2004. He is a member of the AA Springfield rotation, featuring a 2.58 earned run average. In 9 starts, he has only 2 decisions, a 1-1 record. Just drafted last month, outfielder Colby Rasmus is playing with rookie-level Johnson City. That's a look at your first-round draft picks for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now back to right-handed hurler Mark Michael of the Palm Beach Cardinals. How has the Cardinals minor league system helped you develop as a player?
They give you the opportunity just to, they're always on you, or always trying to help you get better, and they're willing to work with you. I mean, we get to the ballpark I've been here for a half hour now, and we don't have to be here till 3:30. And you come early, they'll help you. And just if you need help, they'll help you.
Describe the ideal fan to you.
Ideal fan?
Yeah.
Well, the ideal fan, comes to the ballpark, and eats about 2 or 3 hot dogs, and is into every pitch, and having fun. It's all the same thing, getting their autographs, or I think it's great. When I come to the ballpark and I see there's fan mail in my locker, I feel good that someone's actually a fan of mine. It's pretty amazing feeling, that someone cares enough to take a card and throw it in an envelope and pay 37 cents or whatever it costs to send it to a ballpark, hoping that the athlete will sign it and send it back. So I mean that means a lot. It goes a long way as a player, and it feels good. That you come there, they can wave to you, and you have no problem waving back to you.
Speaking of fans, would you say there's something that fans don't know about the everyday life of a baseball player that they should know?
Yes, a lot of fans, don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They just see, the glamorous field, and the nice uniforms, and a lot of fans probably think players are stuck up because they don't talk to them. There's a lot of rules that the players have to abide by. Fans don't know that, and they get real short. The day in, day out grind that they have to go through, and that we have to go through as a team, it's pretty tough. I mean, you play 140 games every day, and down here in Florida, it's 95 degrees right now with 100% humidity.
Jeez.
You have to be able to lock it in for 140 games and come to the ballpark willing to work every day, and that's it gets real repetitive. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people don't like going to work every day. So it's the same thing as that, and it's a tough grind, and it's a tough profession because it could be 2 years to make it to the big leagues and make the big bucks, or it could be 10 years. And the minor league salary is, I'm not complaining about the money. It's not the greatest. You get by. It's just a grind. It's a lot of, you have to have a lot in you to sacrifice so much. I sacrifice my summer. I sacrifice my family. I haven't seen I see my family about 3 weeks ago. I went home for the All-Star break, but I probably won't see them anymore till September when I go home. That means a lot. That means a lot to me. There's a lot of sacrifices. A lot of people are down vacationing with their families, and I don't get that. You know what I mean? So all my friends are home from college in the summer, and I'm on the road. You know what I mean? So I don't really get a chance to see my friends. It's a lot of sacrifices that people just should know. And but it's fun though. It's a very challenging, and if you like to challenge yourself, it's a very good profession to be in.
Not until AA do pitchers hit for themselves. So if I remember right, you swung a pretty mighty bat in high school and early college. Any chance you might get some pinch hitting appearances for Palm Beach this year?
Probably not, because I've been on the DL, and I know they've always. We were running low at one point, and they told me, I'd be first off the list if I was healthy. So but we got guys now filling in, so I don't think there'll ever be a case where I'll pinch hit in Palm Beach. So it'd be nice if I could, just to maybe we'll see if I could show up some of the hitters. But I haven't realized how tough it is. I wouldn't want to face me. I wouldn't want to face half our pitchers on our staff, to be honest with you. Hitting is probably it's the toughest thing to do in a sport.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I want to hit, but then there's something inside me say, I can't hit that stuff. I haven't hit in 2 or 3 years. That's why I'm pitching again.
Yeah. What are some highlights of your career to date?
The highlights of my career to date. My first win, which was back in 2003. I was throwing against Lowell. I struck out 10. That was a pretty good feeling, and that was, obviously your first professional start or first professional appearance. My parents were there, and that made it real that made it even more special. You know, my parents drove 7 hours to watch me throw one inning. I was out of the bullpen because we got a lot of rain delays my first year. So just for them to, you know, see that, you know, made it feel special to them, and, you know, see their son succeed, which is, you know, always a good thing, good feeling for me. Last year, you know, being able to pitch, and I threw a complete game, which is pretty cool, and, you know, so I mean, it's just being out here is a highlight of my career.
All right, thanks a lot, and I look forward to getting back out there on the field and showing what you can do the remainder of the season and throughout your career.
All right, appreciate it very much.
Many thanks to Mark Michael, the right-handed pitcher for the Palm Beach Cardinals. It's now time to take a look at the Chicago White Sox transactions and their first-round draft picks from the last 6 years. On the 5th of July, the White Sox recalled Bobby Jenks, the right-handed pitcher from AA Charlotte. In the same move, they optioned right-handed pitcher Brandon McCarthy to AAA Charlotte, as he is not expected to have any more starts with the parent club before the All-Star game. Joe Borcher, the White Sox first-round pick in 2000, is now in AAA as a result of a logjam in the Sox outfield. In his 286 career Major League at-bats, Borchard is hitting a paltry 182. He has an unacceptably high strikeout total, along with 15 homers for the Charlotte Knights this season. In 2001, the Chicago team chose Chris Honnell in the first round, currently starting for the Birmingham Barons. The big righty is 1-5 with a bulbous 6+ ERA. The 2002 draft pick was Roger Ring. His full name is Royce Roger Ring, so now he goes by Royce. He went to the New York Mets back in 2003 along with 2 other minor leaguers for Roberto Alomar. Royce made his major league debut this year as he has now pitched in 14 games. Despite a recent dip, 2003 first-round selection Brian Anderson has been the best hitter with Charlotte all year long. Gracious enough to join down on the farm for the debut, the outfielder Anderson leads the team in doubles, RBI, total bases, and walks. Josh Fields out of Stillwater, Oklahoma was the Sox 2004 pick. You heard him on Down on the Farm a couple of weeks ago. Fields is up to AA, playing alongside Honnell for the Barons. The organization has high hopes for 2005 first-rounder Lance Broadway, as they have started him off with the high-A Winston-Salem Warthogs. Through 3 starts, he is 1-0 with a 2.45 mark. Come back next week to hear what your team's growing down on the farm.
Where can you go in our community to post local events on a free, interactive community calendar? Buy and sell things online within the community and keep local businesses from being lost in the sea of .coms. Buy DecaturFirst.com, the only place to go to support and communicate within our